So if you are heading to the salon and they have raised their prices, then you can raise your standards. And a couple ways that you can do that is this. One, if you're going to your stylist, you can ask a couple questions and you can go prepared. One, if they are renting a chair, if they are a stylist who is renting a chair, then you can ask them, are they using the back bar of the salon, the products to shampoo and style your hair? Are they using it there, or do they have to bring in their own? And if it's different from something possibly that salon has advertised, you want to know so that you know what they're using on your hair. The other thing that's really important to find out is your stylist, again, if they're renting a chair or not, but most likely, if they have an assistant, how much work does the assistant do? So if you're getting any type of coloring or highlighting, are they the ones checking it? Are you being worked in with other appointments that the stylist may have? So that may hinder the stylist coming and getting to you and checking you getting pulled up, or a perm, if they still do those, or any type of color that may be going on. So you want to know if how much percentage does the stylist have 100% hands on your hair, or do they have a lot of help? Because if they're in a really busy salon and they have that type of clientele, then they most likely will have an assistant helping them, which is fine. But you still want to know, is the stylist that you are paying for, do they have their eyes, their perspective on your hair? So that's something to think about. I think it's fine, and I'm not knocking the assistants that they would not have the experience. But if you're paying for a particular name of a stylist with their reputation, you want to be sure that that's what you're getting. So if it is the assistant, I think it's fine if they're washing you and shampooing you, maybe washing something out, getting you prepped for that. But one of the main things is you do want to know if you have a block of time with this stylist, again, that are paying for. Are there other appointments that are being worked into it? And of course, you'd have to take into consideration, are you sitting, with something on your hair for 45 minutes that they can do a quick trim that wouldn't even affect you? So it's not like they have to be sitting eye to eye with you, but I would make sure that you sit eye to eye with them in the beginning. Make sure that there's some block of time for a consult, or talk to them prior to going to that appointment. Another good tip, whatever service you are getting, find out what the maintenance and the care of that service is home, because then you'll start to understand how much product that you would need to have at home if you don't have it at home. Always try to consider the type of service that you want, that you might like go to them with a picture and you say, I want this. Just make sure that if you're not certain, just make sure what you're asking for, the service that you're asking for, is going to match up with the lifestyle that you have at home. So if you ask for this, sharp edged bob and it's straight, and you have wavy hair and curly hair, are you going to spend the time to be straightening it out to make sure you're not complaining that you didn't get what you asked for? So you really want to balance, to be pretty clear on what you want. You really want to invest in that, because it's so easy to get caught up in ideas of what's trending, what's out there, what looks good on so-and-so, and then you kind of want it. So for me, those are called beauty baits, and we'll get into those again. So just make sure that these two ideas match up. The other thing is, if you're signing up for something, if you're signing up for highlights, lowlights, lived-in looks, all types of different genres of getting to understand what the stylist is offering, ask before you get there. You want clear definitions of what they're saying something is. And then, make notes of something before you go there, so that when you're sitting with them and you have a consult in the beginning of your appointment, which most likely you will, especially if it's a first-time appointment, have a note card out. There's nothing wrong with that, because you want to keep those things fresh in your mind so that you can ask them those questions and not forget, and not get, to the end of the appointment or get home and go, I wish I asked that. And then you kind of get stuck. I would also consider, if your style that you're getting, okay, if you're not going to buy the exact products that they have, the salon products, and you're going to go home and do your hair, you really need to bridge that gap of education, of having what they use there, if that's what you're going to do at home, and to kind of get the products that are comparable. Now, if you don't want to use those type of products that are salon products, because sometimes they might be too aggressive for you at home, if you wash your hair more or something, and you might want something a little bit, a little bit more conservative at home, that may not be as heavy duty, because they may be using something different while you're in the chair. So understanding that, that bridge between the products is also going to be really, really important. And I'm pretty certain that this is the last one. When you get your service, try to understand or be on the same page with knowing what are your next steps. So if you go for your first appointment and it's your first time, and you may get it cut and colored and, everything else, and styled and all that stuff, what is the progression? So if you have a type of coloring process done, the next time you go, it may not be the whole shebang that you got on your first appointment. It may be a touch up. It may be, I don't know, how they call the money pieces, maybe highlighted here, or maybe a touch up here, or, a little bit more colors here, or just to see how the grow out is. You may want some changes in it and say, it's not light enough, or, whatever it might be. But try to get an idea of what the stylist has in mind for your maintenance. So you don't get discouraged and say, well, I went the first time and it cost me X amount of dollars, and I go to the second time, it cost me X amount of dollars, and the third time, try to understand the price. I know one of the biggest complaints that I've heard is that the price is always different in the salon. And sometimes if you feel like you're getting almost the same thing or not the same thing, you kind of want to understand the whole process. So if they're going to do your whole head, the first appointment, what's the idea of the next appointment? And that's also going to be taking in the time that you want to go by. So if you're not a, 3 to 4 week gal in the salon, and you want to go more of a 6 to 8 week, you kind of want to see how does that play out over a period of time. So you can look at, do I need more appointments? Can I afford this? Can I do more? What can I do at home to maintain it? It really builds up your relationship with your stylist. So those are a couple tips. So you let me know. What did I miss out? What have you found when you've gone to the, salon, and maybe have questioned when you got, home, if it wasn't the same thing, or, why did you, if you did not, but why did you not return to that same stylist? Where was the glitch in that? Was it a communication gap in regard to maybe you not being prepared? Maybe not understanding what they were saying, or flat out completely, that's not what they said. So let's chat about that so that you can be more empowered, better equipped when you go to get what you pay for, because the bottom line is the salon prices are going up, and so should your standards.